Let's start with Jay-Z. He had one of those super verses, right, where you get to go as long as you want. What did you think? Because that's when I realized, this is not going to be a God-focused album. That's just the name. Because it sounded like Lil Wayne was trying to stick to that topic. Ross was trying to stick to that topic. And then Jay-Z was just like, I did it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about his approach to the topic?
I would say this. At first, I was like, this is Jay-Z just being Jay-Z. And then I kind of got mad after a while. Because I felt like the first two, remember that scripture that says, if I'm paraphrasing, if nobody cries out, the rocks and basically nature will cry out to the Lord, right? So, like, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, Ross, okay. You saying God is your provider, basically, because you giving you all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Wayne, you slick with it, trying to say some slick stuff, but you saying provider. He's done this for you, he done that. Okay, I may not agree with everything you're saying, but I can see your premise. So, okay. And then Jay-Z just, like, because before everybody, it felt like Cali was just ad-libbing it up, like, God did. And then he was like, it just stopped and was like, Hove did. And I was like... Okay, so let's see how this go. And then I'm just listening. I'm like, bro, like, I went from like the person that's like, yo, that's okay. I see what he got some bar. He killing it. He's saying some stuff. To like, really, you went from these two people rapping about how God did stuff in their lives to you just saying I'm God and this is what I did for my life. And that kind of made me mad. Like, I don't know why it made me mad. I just like. You can't even stick to the topic to the point. And then here's some things that I did see that even though you think you're God, but you still say, Father, forgive me. There's a part in there when he said that. So then I'm like, that doesn't make sense. If you think you're God, then Father, forgive me for what?
So so when you mentioned that to me, I went back and I listened to it. And it didn't really sound like he was saying Hove did. It sounded like that was just the way he started off his verse.
Or he meant... I did as well. Like, I believed in you.
Yeah.
As well.
Because this whole thing is about
could be, just to be fair.
That's what I took. Because he did say, Father, forgive me. But he was also talking about the Lord. Got a little dicey when he said Jesus Christ turned water into wine. I did it with a stove, or whatever Ho did with a stove. But it was interesting because, and the funniest reaction was last night my wife heard Church Girl for the first time. And she's like, why would she? And I was like, it took me back to the conversation that me and Jeremiah were having where it was like, Beyonce does this Church Girl song and then Jay-Z does this God Did song. And they both are just way off base, and it's just crazy. But I listened to the Jay-Z verse maybe 3 different times. I mean, what was that, 15 minutes? So I feel like basically Jay-Z was just talking about like what he's overcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know if I feel like he was calling himself God at that point.
The point of his verse was, look where we came from. We went from selling drugs to now they got drugs in stores, just like it's regular.
Yeah.
Look, we did this, and now
corner boys to having a corner office.
Yeah, so I don't know what the topic is then. You know what I mean?
Is this the equivalent to his jail verse?
I mean, all his verses are like this, right?
Like recently they are, Ben. But I'm just saying, and what I mean by that is like, what you said is true. Like, we're billionaires now because of this, but for me, it didn't feel like Ross and Wayne's verses. Even though
it definitely didn't. Like they were short.
They were. I mean, besides the length, the way they were presented it was like, okay, yo, this is Khaled. I could imagine Khaled was like, all right, I'm gonna get y'all on record, and this is what the topic is called. God did.
Hold on, real quick. I have an idea, and that this could be something we do or somebody steals or whatever. But you know that channel pitch meetings.
Yeah.
Where the guy like just simulates what a movie pitch meeting was and kind of makes fun of the movie throughout it. It'll be interesting to see what that's like for artists. Like, when you have a song, you send it to your boy and you're like, all right, this is what the song is about. Yeah. And then they do something totally different. It'll be funny to kind of see the setups for how those conversations go because people aren't in studio anymore together. Yeah, it's really, I record my part and I send you.
Yeah.
So who do you think got the song first? Or did they all not hear everybody else's verse? That's what it sounds like.
I think Jay-Z got the song last.
Yeah, I think he got it last because he had the longest verse.
Yeah, and I think, and not only that's how it happens sometimes because I don't know if Jay-Z has the time to really like be in the studio like that. Unless he's in the process of recording an album. But I think Ross, I don't know if Ross and Wayne got it, but their verses about the same time.
Yeah.
So it's not like different. You know what I'm saying?
But also there was a couple of tracks on this project that didn't have hooks where they went all the way through. So maybe Jay-Z thought the song was his.
Yeah.
And then Khaled was like, well, let me just add. I got to still put Wayne and Ross on here, and I'll just make the song 8 minutes and 22 seconds.
So let's talk about some of the more problematic parts, because Ruslan is on here and he's saying the Psalm 151 part was wild. To me, I caught that, but what made my eyes pop was the Jesus turned water to wine, behold, all it took for hope was a stove. Mainly because that was the best line. But it was so disrespectful. But yeah, like what stood out to you as like, man, Jay, like, because I remember people used to pray, you pray for artists, your favorite artists to get saved. Yeah. And I know people would pray for Jay-Z over time. I don't know if it's working. Because he does not care. He does not.
Jay is hurt, bro. At the end of the day, Jay-Z he's hurt. I've seen videos. I've seen the conversations, and shout out to Ruslan. Ruslan and Dayton had a conversation about it, and he showed the video where he was on Rap Radar with Elliot Wilson and B-Dot, and talked about how his grandfather or somebody in his like one of his elders did something to his aunt. But he was a pastor and he was a preacher.
Church hurt.
So I don't say it's church hurt, but I think it comes from a perspective like, how could you do that to your granddaughter or your daughter? Like how could you do that to somebody you love and be on stage and preaching? That doesn't. So he's like, I see the hypocrisy in this. So I'm like, I can't. I can't. My thing is, if you could do that to somebody in your family, imagine what you're doing to other people that's not in your family, quote unquote.
But success does kill these folks in the sense that they have to believe that their God's chosen. I feel like they feel that way in some way. I made it to this point when he talked about billionaires. He was like, me, Ye, and Ree made it out this, came out this one table. It's almost like they feel like we're so.
But he's
successful.
saying he made them.
But that's
he did say that.
But that's the thing. Jay-Z is one of the only ones that I've known that pushes it a little bit past what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's read the whole line. These ain't songs. These is hymns, cause I'm him.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I'm like,
blasphemy.
I heard that too.
What are you saying?
That's on some bizzle. Go get the beat.
Because he's always played around with